You know, every leader hits that moment. The clock's ticking, the pressure is building, and you've got to make the right call. But what happens when your own perception becomes the biggest risk you face? Well, today, we're going to break down how to sidestep one of the most common leadership traps out there, the objectivity blind spot.
So let's just jump right in with a really direct question. What is the true cost of just one bad decision? And I'm not just talking about dollars and cents here. I mean the ripple effect, what it does to trust, to morale, to your team's momentum. Believe me, it is almost always so much bigger than we think.
All right, so the source of these really costly mistakes, it usually comes down to one core problem. And that's what we're calling the objectivity blind spot. It's that tricky space where our own biases and the heat of the moment just completely cloud our judgment. And what's so wild is that for most leaders, the biggest, most dangerous risks, they don't come from some massive external threat. Nope. They start right inside with one simple but absolutely critical failure: losing your objectivity. Okay, so what does this failure actually look like in the real world? Let's dig into the high price of just reacting instead of truly responding. We're going to look at the cost of reaction through a quick case study. Let's paint a picture. Imagine your company's biggest project is running 2 weeks late. The emails are flying in from stakeholders, your team is pulling weekend shifts. The pressure for a fast, visible fix is just immense. And in that kind of high-stress fog, a really simple and convenient story starts to form. It's got to be the project lead, right? They're the bottleneck. So the leader, feeling all that heat, needing to look like they're taking decisive action, they make the call. They pull the project lead. And you know what? It feels powerful. It looks like a solution, but it's a choice that was born out of panic. And it's based on the feeling of a problem, not the cold hard facts of the situation. So what's the fallout from that? Well, first, a chill just rips through the team. Morale doesn't just dip, it absolutely tanks. Everyone's left thinking, is my head on the chopping block next? Second, the project still misses its new deadline, only now it's missing its most experienced person. And that's when the biggest failure becomes clear. The real problems, maybe unrealistic targets, some hidden technical issues, a lack of resources, they were never even diagnosed, let alone fixed. And this whole story just perfectly illustrates the two paths you can take. On one side, you've got reactive decision-making. That's all fueled by bias and pressure. It's all about the quick fix, and as we just saw, it usually ends up creating a whole new set of problems. But on the other side, you've got objective decision-making. That's based on facts, on analysis. It digs for the root cause so you can build a solution that actually lasts. So the big question is, how do we get from that reactive gut punch to a clear, objective mindset? Well, we get there with a really simple but incredibly powerful tool. Let's call it the reality check solution. This is basically the antidote to that knee-jerk reactive impulse we all have. So what is a reality check? Think of it as a practical technique. It's about intentionally hitting the pause button and looking at a situation with fresh, objective eyes before you make that critical call. It's all about creating a little bit of space between the problem that just landed on your desk and your response to it. Now, this isn't some vague, abstract idea. It's a real, actionable process. It's a simple framework designed to help you refocus your thinking right when that pressure is at its peak. It all breaks down into 3 really clear steps. Step 1, pause. Honestly, this is the hardest part. You have to fight that powerful urge to just react instantly. Just take a breath. Step 2 is assess. This is where you put on your detective hat. Gather facts, not feelings. Ask yourself, what do I actually know is true here versus what am I just assuming? And finally, step 3, refocus. Now that you have a clearer picture, you can reevaluate your actual goal and start to see all these alternative options that were totally invisible to you just a few moments before. So let's bring this all home. Let's make this about you and the work you're doing right now. I want you to think about your next critical choice, the one that's probably already on your mind. Before you have to make that choice, let's just lock in the key takeaways here. First, a lack of objectivity isn't a small thing. It's a primary driver of leadership failure. Second, reactive decisions, they're just band-aids on bullet wounds. They treat symptoms, not the cause, and they come with some seriously steep hidden costs. And third, that reality check, the simple pause, assess, refocus model, is your most practical tool for grabbing back your objectivity when you're under pressure.
And that leaves us with one final thought for you to carry with you. As you face that next fork in the road, that next high-stakes call you have to make, before your next critical decision, what's the one thing you're going to reality check first?